What a night. Bam Adebayo also breaks the record for most made free throws in NBA history. His previous career high scoring game had been 41 points. Last night he goes for 83. He joins Wilt Chamberlain from the 100-point game as the only players in NBA history with 40 points in multiple halves in a single game. We've got Alan and we have Chiney Ogumbuike up with us early this morning for reaction again to an historic night. And we will say it, we did not put all of it in the highlight because it would have slowed down the momentum of it. But certainly late in this game, there were a lot of things that happened. They were intentionally fouling. The Heat were intentionally missing free throws to get their teammate opportunities at more points to try and get him closer and closer to the record. That's there. It happened. I can give you the numbers because I have the box scores of all three games. Bam made 43 free throws last night. Kobe shot 20 free throws in his game. Wilt Chamberlain shot 32 free throws in the 100-point game. And I'll remind you, he did it in an era where there were no threes. So, with the table set, Chiney, what are the first things to say about Bam Adebayo scoring 83 points last night?
First, I don't care about the qualifiers. If I'm going to describe this performance in one word, it's inspirational. In a couple, it's a global pause button. You stop what you're doing and you pick up your remote control and you change the channel and you watch an all-time great performance. That's what the entire world did. And I'm just in awe. Honestly, I say inspirational because it's personal to me. Make a mighty ocean. It basically means that the path to success, it's not always going to be loud, but the results are. And we saw the results of years of hard work and dedication come to this one performance. This is a guy that is not designed necessarily to have this type of output, to drop 83, but his work ethic showed that anything is possible. He hit multiple threes. He demanded the ball in a way to get to the free throw line. It was truly inspirational because this is a guy that's a multiple-time All-Star, probably like 3 or 4. He's known as a defender, but he is the heart, literally, and soul of Miami. And you only get there when your teammates love you, and it was a beautiful performance.
And he wasn't having a great offensive season. In fact, he was struggling with shooting throughout most of this season. If I gave you the list of the top 100 scorers in the NBA right now, where would you rank him among the most probability to have a night like this, in a season like this? So, yes, everything Chiney said, I completely agree with. And let's forget about the ethical hoops conversation here, please. Let's put that aside because this was not a basketball game anymore. This was a spectacle. That's what it became. Purpose, because they thought he can't make free throws. When he started making them, they were fouling his teammates, so he couldn't score. That was no longer an ethical game either. So let's put that aside. This was a spectacle, and that's what the NBA can give you on a nightly basis. That's what made this fun. The Celtics-Spurs game, that was the game of the night. But when I heard he was at 50 points in the third quarter, where did I go? League pass. Let me see the rest of this game.
100%. I want to echo what you just said. The reason you come to shows like this one, hopefully, is to get perspective on things like that. And so for all the people who are on Twitter saying that they made the end of that game a farce, what I will tell you is you never saw the end of the game in 1962. A, because you may not be old enough to have. B, because it wasn't on television.
Right.
Exactly the same thing, or a relative facsimile of the same thing, happened that night. As Alan just said, the Knicks were intentionally fouling Chamberlain's teammates so that he wouldn't get a chance to try and go for the 100 points,
right.
And he got there anyway. History doesn't write down how you got there. History writes down the number, and history will record forever. Chiney, I'll give you a final word. Will record forever that last night Bam Adebayo scored more points than any player in any game ever except for Wilt Chamberlain.
This, to me, is fascinating because it could honestly be an inflection point, not only for Bam, but for the Miami Heat. They've needed an infusion of life, and everyone has called on him to be that top dog. And these are the moments you never forget. These are the moments that are undeniable. And so, like Alan said, I was watching the Celtics Spurs. That went out of the window, even though it was a beautiful game, because you do not want to miss moments like this. We're going to talk about where were you? I was nowhere crazy. I was sitting on my couch. But Bam will honestly become an icon just for this one night. All
right, we're going to get to Celtic Spurs because Wembanyama went nuts and Jaylen Brown got thrown out. So there's a lot more NBA to get to. But the next story in our massive morning comes with an upset that may